Okay, Algebra 1 students, in this video today we're going to be looking at equations and inequalities. Okay, equations and inequalities. So obviously your heading for today will be equations and inequalities, and the lesson number is 1.4, so please copy all of this into your notes. The heading, the lesson number, and be sure and include today's date also. Okay, equations and inequalities, lesson 1.4. Be sure and include today's date. Now, it's actually very good to look at these two topics in the same lesson slash video. Okay, it is good for students to see the likes and the differences, or the comparisons and the differences of equations and inequalities, because they do have some similarities, they do have some differences. First, let's start off with equations. Please copy that in your notes. An equation is when two expressions are joined together by an equal sign. An equation is when two expressions are joined together by an equal sign. Okay? Please copy that in your notes. An equation is when two expressions are joined together by an equal sign. And here is an example right here. Please copy this example in your notes. Remember, if I go too fast, just pause the video and get caught up, okay? Copy this equation in your notes, please. 2x minus 5 equals 11. Now, here's one expression. Here's the other expression. And notice they're joined together by an equal sign. Okay, you say, Mr. Earhart, this is not an expression right here. This is just a number. Well, guys, a number can't be an expression, okay? This is a numerical expression. This is an algebraic expression. When two expressions are joined together by an equal sign, you have an equation. So there's an equation right there. Okay? Now, please listen to me carefully. There are plenty of equations that you cannot do in your head. For those types of equations, you need to take your time and show your work, and I will teach you how to do that later on this school year. However, we're not doing those types of equations today. Today we are going to be solving equations by just doing them in your head, okay? It's not super easy, but the more you practice, the better at it you will become, okay? For example, please look at the above equation right here, okay? Please take a look at that. Now, I would like you to solve this in your head. Now, some of you just might start sticking numbers in here. Try a 1, and then try a 2, and then try a 3. I would strongly discourage you not to do that. I mean, encourage you not to do that. I would strongly discourage you from doing that. Please listen to how I suggest that you do this. First of all, you know you want this entire side right here to equal what? 11. Got it? So think about it. Now just stop and relax and think this through. I want this entire side right here to equal 11. So I know that from this expression here, I'm subtracting 5. Do you see that okay? Everybody see that? Minus 5. So think about it. If 2x were 16, I would be okay, because what's 16 minus 5? 11. Do you see how I did that? Just common sense. Look, I realized I wanted this entire side right here to equal what? 11. Well, if I've got a minus 5 here, then obviously this entire expression right here has to be 16, because 16 minus 5 is 11. So if this entire expression right here has to be 16, then what would x have to be? 2 times x equals 16. What would you put in for x here to make this part right here be 16? 8. And there we go, we solved it. 2 times 8 is 16. Minus 5 equals 11. 11 equals 11. Check. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. We'll be doing these in our head. Now don't freak out or panic if I lost you there. We're going to do some more, okay? But I want you to be able to take this equation and solve it in your head. Then I want you to do something else. I want you to take that answer and check it and make sure you got it right. like I just did a second ago. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 5 is 11. Check, there we go. So I want you to be able to solve these in your head and then check them, okay? Alright, here we go. Let's try another one. Please take really good notes on everything I'm giving you here, alright? Okay, next problem. Now let's relax and not panic. First of all, I realize I want this entire side right here to equal what? 7. Got it? So, I'm adding 1 to this entire group right here. So what would this 3x have to be, the entire group, to give me a 7? What plus 1 equals 7? 3x would have to be what? 6, right? Does that make sense? 3x would have to be 6 because 6 plus 1 equals 7. So if 3x has to be 6, then what does x have to be? 3 times what gives you 6? 3 times 2. So there's my answer. X has to be 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So I got my answer. And now I want you to check it and show all of your work just for practice. Now listen to me if you're totally confused as to what I'm doing and you want to solve these equations by doing trial and error and put numbers in for x. Try 1, try 2 times 3 times 4, try 5, try 6, try 7. That's up to you, okay? But I really think you should try to do these in your head first without trial and error. But anyways, there's your answer. I substituted the 2 in for x and I checked it. 7 equals 7. Okay, let's try another one. If I'm going too fast, just pause the video and get caught up, alright? Alright, here we go. Next one. I want this entire side right here to equal what? 10, right? Now, if that's the case, notice I'm subtracting 2 from 4x. So something minus 2 would give me 10. What would that be? Something minus 2 equals 10. Wouldn't that be 12? So I know 4x has to be 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. So 4x has to be 12. Now if 4x has to be 12, then what does x have to be? 4 times what gives me 12? 4 times 3. So there I solve the equation. X equals 3. There we go. Not too bad. So there's my answer. Now let's substitute 3 in for x and check it and see if we're right. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. 10 equals 10. Check. Are you getting this okay? Not too difficult, but you gotta make sure you understand this. Alright, let's try another one. Maybe you can pause the video and try this one on your own, then turn it back on and see how you do, okay? That's up to you. You can work with me, or you can pause the video and try it on your own. But please copy this in your notes, and here we go. Okay, we want this entire side right here to equal what? 27. Now, I'm adding 7 to 5x. So what would 5x have to be? Something plus 7 equals 27. What plus 7 equals 27? Wouldn't it be 20? 20 plus 7 equals 27. So 5x has to be 20. So this entire term right here has to be 20. Now, if 5x has to be 20, then what does 4 have to be? Well, 5, or what does x have to be, excuse me? Well, 5 times 4 is 20, so x has to be 4. There we go, we solved it. So there's my answer. Now, let's check your answer. 5 parentheses 4. Positive 7 equals 27. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 7 equals 27. 27 equals 27. Check. So we're learning how to solve these, and we're also learning how to check our answers. Okay? Not too difficult. Notice that all of these problems right here that we just did had one answer for each problem. Right? X equals was. But anyways, that's about to change, okay? These are called what? Equations, because they have what sign right here? An equal sign, okay? So notice that all of these problems, because their equations had one answer, that's about to change when we start looking at inequalities. Inequalities are not going to have one answer. Are you listening? They're going to have a group of answers, okay? So there's one difference between equations and inequalities. First, please copy this in your notes. Here's the definition of an inequality. An inequality is when two expressions are joined together not by an equal sign, but by an inequality sign or an inequality symbol. What's the inequality symbol? You know, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These are inequality symbols or inequality signs, okay? So please copy this in your notes. An inequality is when two expressions are joined together by an inequality symbol. Alright? That's an inequality. Here is an example of one. Please copy this in your notes. There. That is not an equation because we do not have an equal sign here. This is an inequality because we have an inequality right here. Okay, do you see the difference? Equations have equal signs. Inequalities are going to have inequality symbols. So we have two expressions joined together by an inequality sign. Now, we are not going to solve these today. Okay, I know we just solved equations. Today in this lesson, we are not going to solve inequalities. Okay, we are not going to. We will learn how to solve those later on during the year, okay? Today we are just going to learn how to see if a number is a solution for the inequality. Let me say that again. We are not going to solve these today, okay? We're not going to do that. We'll do that later. Today we are just going to take a number and check it to see if it is a solution of the inequality. That's all we're going to do, okay? So here we go. Take this inequality up here, okay? Is the number 8 a solution for this inequality? Well, let's find out. Let's put 8 in for x. Let's see what happens, okay? 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 5 is 11. And look what you have. 11 is greater than or equal to 11. Now, if this was not there, it would say 11 is greater than 11. Is that true? Is 11 greater than 11? No, that's not true. So because this is false, then we would say no, 8 is not a solution. Got it? But we do have this right here. So is 11 greater than 11? No, but 11 is equal to 11. 11 is greater than or equal to 11. That's a true statement. So is 8 a solution for the above inequality? Yes, it is. Because it worked in this example right here. Look at this. Let's try another one. Let's take this same inequality and let's test 10. Let's see if 10 is an example. Let's see if 10 works, okay? So far, 8 is a yes. Let's test 10. 2 times 10 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. 20. 2 times 10 is 20 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. 20 minus 5 is 15. 15 is greater than or equal to 11. Is that true or false? Is 15 greater than or equal to 11? Well, sure it is. That's true. 15 is greater than 11. So, yes, 10 is a solution. So do you see what I was saying earlier back here? I was saying these equations all had one answer. And then I said that's about to change. Inequalities are going to have a group of answers, okay? So that's what we're seeing now. So for this inequality, is 8 a solution? Yes, it is. Is 10 a solution? Yes, it is. Okay? So that's fine. Now let's check another number, okay? So far, 8 is a solution. So far, 10 is a solution. Let's check 4. How about the number 4? Let's check that and see, okay? So here we go. Where x is, I will substitute 4. There we go. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. Is 3 greater than or equal to 11? No, that's false. No, it is not. So is number 4 a solution to this inequality? No, it is not. So there we go. That's all I want you to do right now when it comes to inequalities, okay? Just be able to substitute a number in and tell me yes, it satisfies the inequality, or no, it does not. Okay? Now, let's stop and review before we go on to something else, okay? So far in this video, you should be able to do 4 things. You should know the difference between an equation and inequality. So if I had 2x minus 10 equals 15, and if I had 3x plus 16 is greater than 19, do you know which one of these is an equation? I hope so. Do you know which one of these is an inequality? I hope so. Okay, you should be able to tell the difference between an inequality and an equation. Okay? Hopefully you can do that. You should know how to check a number to see if it is a solution of an equation. So, in other words, if I gave you an equation like this, and I said x equals 3, you should be able to check that, okay? 4 times 3 is 12, plus 10 equals 15. 12 plus 10 is 22, equals 15. Now, is that a true statement? Does 22 equal 15? No, it's false. So, is 3 a solution to this equation? No, it's not. No. So you should be able to do that, okay? You should know the difference between an equation and... Okay, sorry, since I deposited it, but anyways, is 3 a solution? No, it's not. So you should be able to take a number and check to see if it's a solution to an equation. You should know how to solve an equation in your head. If I have 3x minus 8 equals, I don't know, let's see, 16, something like that, then you should be able to do that in your head, okay? You should be able to say this entire side here equals 16. So then, something minus 8 equals 16, wouldn't that be 24? 24 minus 8 is 16, so 3x has to equal 24. If 3x has to equal 24, then that means x has to be 8, because 3 times 8 is 24. So there's your answer. You should be able to do that, okay? And then lastly, one more thing. And then lastly, number 4, you should know how to check a number to see if it's a solution to an inequality. I'm not going to bore you with that. We just did that right back here. I gave you an inequality, and we put different numbers in to see if they were a solution. 8 was, 10 was, 4 was not. So far at this point in the video, if you cannot do those 4 things, then you're behind. You should be able to do these. You should be able to do these 4 things right here. Okay. Now let's look at one more thing, and we'll be finished. Okay. One more thing. It is important to be able to take English words and rewrite them as an equation or an inequality. So here we go, guys. Let's learn to take some English words and rewrite them as an equation or an inequality, okay? Just take notes and you'll be okay. Please copy this in your notes, okay? Copy this in your notes. sum of x and 16 is less than 32. Okay? I'm going to pause for a second. Please copy that in your notes. The sum of x and 16 is less than 32. Please copy that in your notes. Now, there is no such word as summing, but I'm going to use that word anyways, okay? You're summing two things. You're summing x and 16. Now, what does sum mean? It means add. So we're adding x and 16. So the sum of x and 16 is what? Is less than. Is less than. Look at that. We know what that means. Is less than. There's your less than symbol. 32. Look at that. X plus 16 is less than 32. I'm going to move on. If you got to back it up and watch it again, then back it up and watch it again. Copy this in your notes, please. Copy this in your notes. The difference of x and 16 is 32. Please copy that in your notes. The difference of x and 16 is 32. Now, I don't think there's a word called differencing. Okay, but I'm going to use it anyways. We are differencing x and 16. The difference of x and 16. So we are differencing x and 16. Now, what does difference mean? Well, sum means add. Difference means subtract. So if we're differencing something, we're subtracting something. We're the difference of x and 16. In other words, we're subtracting. So x minus 16 is. Now, what does is always stand for? Equals 32. The difference, in other words, we're subtracting. So the subtraction of x and 16, x minus 16, is or equals 32. There we go. Piece of cake, guys. Okay. I'm going to move on. Pause the video if you need to. Copy this in your notes, please. Copy that in your notes. The product of 16 and x is equal to 32. The product of 16 and x is equal to 32. Please copy that in your notes. Now I know there's no such word as producting, okay? But I'm going to use the word anyways. What two things are we producting? Well, the product of 16 and x. Now, product means multiply. So instead of using the word producting, I'm going to use the word multiplying, okay? Multiplying. So what are we multiplying? 16 and x. Now don't use a multiplication symbol like that. It looks like an x, okay? Use a dot. So 16 times x. The product of 16 and x, 16 times x, is equal to what? 32. Now, you really should not leave it like this because we're in big time algebra now. Algebra 1, we know that 16 times x really just means write them side by side. So there we go. 16x equals 32. Alright? Not too difficult. Now, if you struggle with that, just pause the video, back it up, and watch it again, okay? Alright, please copy this in your notes. While you're copying that in your notes, I'm going to go ahead and write all this up here one more time for you so you remember this. Sum means to add. Difference means to subtract. Product means to multiply. And quotient means to divide. Okay? So I'm quotienting, or I'm dividing what two things? Well, the quotient of x and 16. So I'm dividing x and 16 is greater than or equal to 32. Now, you would think of it like this. Now watch this, please. Watch carefully. The quotient, or the division of x and 16, so x divided by 16, is greater than or equal to, there we go, is greater than or equal to 32. Now, just like in this last problem, right here, students, please listen, focus, I'm almost done, watch. Just like in this problem right here, when we had 16 dot x, I told you that's unacceptable. And it is unacceptable. I don't want you to write it like that. 16 dot x is just 16x. You need to get used to that, okay? We're in algebra now. Well, we don't put x divided by 16. That's not how we do it in algebra. We use fraction bars. Remember, x divided by 16 can be written like this also. A fraction bar means divide. 1/2 is 1/2. But 1/2 also means 1 divided by 2. That's what 1/2 means. And if you did that, you would get 0.5. Okay? So we don't use division symbols very often. Sometimes we do in algebra, sometimes, but not very often. We usually use fraction bars, okay? So x divided by 16 should be written like this. X over 16 is greater than or equal to 32. Okay? So make sure you understand those, okay? Be able to take English words and rewrite them as an equation or inequality. Okay? Guys, I hope this video has been a help to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to